I had my own television show in high school. I had my own song too, but it was on YouTube. You could probably watch it, find it, and search me, but I had my own show in high school. And when I got to church, they would have somebody have to read the announcements. Before there was video, we would read them in front of church. And Mr. Penix, he saw me doing that in church, and he would see what I was doing in school, and he said, "You should be a journalist." And I never realized like that was a career that I could like pursue. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful start to your day or finish to your day whenever you happen to watch this video. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button so you can join the family. And if you like this content, well, press that thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, also put it down below this video. I love to hear your thoughts. Now this week, I'm doing things a little bit differently. We're not talking about a specific topic, but I want to unveil some more about myself. We've been diving deep into some really serious content about things related to my life, but a lot of you who are just happening to find these videos scrolling on your timeline, you may say to yourself, well, who is she? And so I want to kind of step back a little bit and give you more about who Monique Tawiah is, formerly Monique Robinson. And so my husband is helping me through this, and he's going to kind of ask me some questions. And as he asks me those questions, I'm going to answer them to better tell you more of my story. So, husband?
So where are you from and how did you grow up?
So I'm from Central New Jersey. Yes, Central New Jersey. It does exist. For those of you who have not yet visited New Jersey, Central Jersey is nothing like South Jersey and nothing like North Jersey. If you are from North Jersey, you have a lot more of those New York City influences. If you are in South Jersey, it's a little bit more rural. But Central Jersey, I believe, is genuinely a melting pot. I remember, my cheerleading team, I was a cheerleader for 12 years about. I remember my cheerleading team was always the oddball cheerleading team. We were amazing. I loved the girls we were on my team, but I was like literally in my stunt group. I was a back spot, or sometimes I'd be a base, but I was mainly a back spot. I was African American. I had one base who was African American, another base who was white, and then our flyer was Asian. So that was just a small nugget. Our entire team was like that. We had African Americans on our team, like from Africa. We had people who were Asian American. We obviously had some white people on our team. Our team was a melting pot, and that was a reflection of our community. We always talk about how we're warriors for life where I'm from, where all of us, no matter what walk of life we come from, we all really emulate that warrior mentality where we can make it and we can do anything. And I've stuck with that mantra through my life. When people have asked me, which mantra over the years do I stick with most? The one from my college years, the one from my high school years, the one from my higher education years, and I always say, I'm a warrior for life. We rock that blue and gold hard because we're proud to be a warrior.
Give a shout out to your high school.
Yeah, shout out to my high school. My high school was one of the pivotal locations that built me as a journalist. I would have never been a journalist if it wasn't for my Mr. Penix, who was my video production teacher. He also was a youth leader in my church. And so whether I was in school or I was out of school, I was always around Mr. Penix. And Mr. Penix, he would teach his video production class. I mean, those big, huge cameras that you see that thousands of dollars, we had those in our high school. We had MacBook Pros and all that well before they were really popular. And we had Final Cut Pro. I mean, we had state-of-the-art studios. And so I had my own television show in high school. I had my own song too, but it was on YouTube. You could probably watch it, find it, and search me. But I had my own show in high school. And when I got to church, they would have somebody have to read the announcements. Before there was video, we would read them in front of church. And Mr. Penix, he saw me doing that in church, and he would see what I was doing in school, and he said, "You should be a journalist." And I never realized like that was a career that I could like pursue until he planted that seed in me. And so that whole journalism seed was birthed out of just being in my high school, and just being exposed to it through Mr. Penix and him telling me that that was a potential career. Obviously, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, people watch news all the time. Duh. Well, growing up, I couldn't watch TV like that. My mom and dad were very adamant about our educational growth, and so we did not watch TV Monday through Friday, only on the weekends. But it didn't really affect us too much. We were very involved in sports. As I mentioned, I was a cheerleader. I also did a lot of other extracurricular activities where by the time I got home, I didn't really have that much free time. So it didn't really bother much, but I did not watch a lot of television. So the idea of journalism wasn't something that immediately came to the forefront of my mind when I thought about careers.
Mm. So you didn't watch TV growing up, but you ended up on TV. What was that like? What was the family's thought on that?
So it's funny, like, my mom would probably even tell you, I remember as a little girl, we lived in one house when we were younger and we moved. I remember being a little girl and I would be like, just young, and sometimes you want to like sleep with your parents or whatever because you're like scared of the dark or whatever, I don't know. And I remember my mom would always watch the 11 o'clock newscast. And we get a lot of our channels would be New York City. And so a lot of the channels we would watch, it would be crime crazy, especially 11 p.m. news. And so I was afraid as a little kid of listening to the news, watching the news. So it was crazy to me that it's funny, full circle, that I ended up being on and in a part of an industry that I was afraid of as a child. But I think that my parents, there's so much praise that my parents are proud always of what I do, but especially when you're on a platform and space where the world can also see how great their child is. I think it made my parents even more excited. Funny enough, I did public speaking when I was a little kid. My grandma actually was an orator. She would coach people how to publicly speak properly in front of crowds. If I go into a crowd, I know how to, work on my pacing with my voice. I know how to project. My grandma taught me those skills because she did that as a job. She would coach people through speaking. And I remember my very first competition, I won first place. I was like 10 or 11 or something. I won first place in my very first competition, and my grandma will to this day tell me the story and ask me why I stopped speaking. And that is why I'm now returning back to speaking, because my grandma said, "Why are you not speaking?" I think when I did the journalism, a small part of her was grateful that I finally got back into speaking in some capacity, but she knew that stages and platforms of that capacity where I was able to share my voice, that I needed to be there. And so she was excited for the journalism, but now that I'm even speaking more, she's even more excited that I get to do more of that. That wasn't the only competition that I actually had won in speaking. I had won quite a couple. My mom could attest to those competitions. Yeah.
So tell us what your career was like as a journalist, and how you got to doing what you're doing now as you move forward.
So my career as a journalist was bittersweet. I loved the community involvement. I'm the extrovert that literally feeds off the energy of people. But when it came to the actual career of journalism, I just didn't find my fit in the traditional news cycle where journalism thrives and lives. So when it comes to politics, I don't like that. When it comes to crime, I hate hearing about it. In fact, I remember I had a debate with a friend many years ago when we watched those crime stories. I asked myself, and I asked my friends in journalism, I said, why do we tell those stories? Like, why do we find a need to plaster a man's face on a screen about a crime that he committed? So for me, I had a trouble spot with my heart, because I feel like sometimes the intent behind what people are doing and the reality of what happens when you do those things don't match up to me and my heart. And so journalism was very difficult for me to pursue because I had challenges with understanding the practices and the models of journalism. Now, I do believe that there is a space for me in journalism. What I do with interviewing people, what I do with speaking to people for feature stories or those feel-good stories, that is what I do enjoy. But the traditional news cycle does not praise or have interest in those type of stories. When you watch news, how often do you hear about somebody doing something great? You know, that is not what the news cycle loves to showcase. They showcase more of what people are doing wrong, what people shouldn't do, what people should be afraid of. And I don't like that. And so for me, among other things that I talked about in a previous video, that isn't the best fit for me. And so I started to grow into a place now where I can speak, you know, to my audiences, reach communities, reach the people who I'm passionate about, which are my African American women and all minorities. Other communities I'm grateful for as well, but those are my people that I really want to speak to the hearts of. So now, since then, I've grown into that, but the coaching and consulting space is also extremely important because 90% of people, and I'm just throwing a statistic out there based on my heart, but 90% of people I feel do not know their price. They do not know what to ask for and how much they're really worth in this world. And each of us has a price tag. And I mean that we all have skills, we all have gifts, we all have talents, and each of those are a price. You know, if you are a cleaner and you clean houses extremely well, you deserve a price for that. You deserve to get paid for that. That is a service that you are providing that we are all so grateful for. If you are a chef, you deserve a certain price. And so unfortunately, a lot of people have not been given their right value. And so they'll go into rooms and spaces, and lack of confidence allows for them to receive something less than what they deserve. And so I love to be able to encourage people through whatever circumstance they're in so that they know their value and they walk in their value.
How'd you come to that revelation about people's value?
I came to that revelation, funny enough, because I, for several years, did not get what I was deserving of. I started, now that I stepped away from news, I start to see like there's money out here to be had and to be made. And for so long, I was trapped in my thinking that if I asked for more, I was doing too much. I remember when I had my very first job, I was getting paid probably less than 25. I was about getting paid around $25,000 a year. $25,000 a year. And this was within the last 5 years. So it wasn't that long ago. And that's obviously not a significant amount of money. And so I remember looking at that paycheck thinking, okay, maybe this could work, but maybe they can give me some extra money to buy clothes, or maybe they can get me extra money to buy makeup. And when I asked if that was possible, considering $25,000 is probably just enough to pay for rent, you know, or just enough to pay for rent and food, not talking about my car. So or clothes or makeup and all those things that are necessary for my job. So when I asked, can I possibly get a little bit extra for makeup or for clothes, I was immediately told, no, we don't do that. And so from a very early start in my career, I was told no for something that I needed, not something that I deserved, but also just something plainly that I needed. And so I kind of got trapped in this mindset moving forward that even if I need it, you don't ask for it. No matter what you provide, no matter how talented or skilled you are, no matter how the world sees you and your skills, you can't ask for more. And I kept that mindset. And then it came to a point where I realized I can't maintain a lifestyle like this because I'm suffering. Not the company. The company's benefiting from my skills. The company's benefiting from my talents. But I'm suffering and I'm showing up here every day and they're expecting me to do something for them, but I still don't have what I simply need. And so that is what forced me to kind of better understand, Monique, okay, you need to take a step back here and figure out your value. And then as I got awakened by that experience and I had conversations with other people, I started to realize, oh, y'all don't know your value either. Oh, y'all are just taking anything that comes. And it's not about, it's a root issue. It's not about, oh, that they just are, being kind and taking any old thing. People aren't looking at themselves in the mirror and realizing their skills, because each of us has a unique design and we all have unique skills that cannot be, like, no one can do what I do. And I'm saying that humbly, but I'm saying that in a way of, I know that if somebody needs me, that they need me, like they need Monique. And what I bring, they'll never be able to get that from someone else. And when I ask for a price, or when I'm asking for something based upon Monique, I should be able to get it, or there should be some negotiation, or there should be something that they should be able to do because they see me. When some immediately off the back says no, or they make excuses for being able to support you, you have to be able to do an evaluation on yourself of, is this opportunity worth me? Is this opportunity understanding of who I am? Now, sometimes there's certain things that are out there that we just do out the kindness of our heart. There may be some nonprofit you may want to support, or something where they just literally can't afford it, but their heart is in the right place. But then there's some people who just expect you to do, and they don't express their understanding of your uniqueness. And so there's a big difference between the two. And I've felt that backside of what it feels like to not get what you're worth and not be even told that we appreciate you.
So what's bringing you to YouTube, and talk about the community that you're looking to build?
Great question. So I came to YouTube because I want to be able to share what I'm saying on a larger platform, but not just a larger platform, but to be able to have more time to talk. You see, I can kind of talk for a little bit. And so sometimes when I would go to Instagram, I'd have to keep it to a minute. Like, that's how I keep your attention. If it's any longer than that, YouTube won't even let me post it. So I had to find a new platform that allows for me to speak longer. And when I talk about what I want to do on this platform, different from what I've done before, is I want people to grow in their confidence, in their faith. I want people to grow in their relationships as I do the same. So this is a mutual journey that we're both having, that I both want us to walk on together. So I'm not saying that I'm teaching you about things as if I already know. I'm telling you about things as they happen to me so we can grow together. So I want this community to just be a growing community. As I said before, I'm passionate about supporting my African American women. I extend this to anyone, though. If you do not fall in that category, I'm not pushing you away. I'm just telling you where my heart lives in them. And if you happen to gravitate to us and you are not a part of this and part of that particular intersectionality, that is A-okay. I want my words to speak to whomever it needs to speak to. But I definitely want this to be a community of people who are interested in growth.
Any closing words as you look forward to the second half of 2023?
I'm just really excited to see what God does over these next several months. I got married to my husband, who's been asking amazing questions, don't y'all think? Since we've been married since January 19th of 2023, and so we are a little over 3 months I think about into this thing, and it's just the beginning of a long journey of growth with us and of blessings with us. And so I just can't wait to see what God does is in our lives individually as well as a collective over these next several months in 2023. I can't wait to see what this channel does and whose lives it gets to touch. And yeah, I really want to spread joy and love, and so I hope that I get to do that with each of the videos that I do produce, whether it's tough love or just real love, soft love, whatever kind of love it is. I hope you receive it in anything and everything that I do. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you watch this whole thing and you are not subscribed to the channel, child, do it now. Subscribe to the channel, click that subscribe button so you can be a part of the family and know when the next video drops. If you like this video, click that thumbs up for me. And if you got something to say, put it in the comments. I promise you, I will interact with you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Follow me on all social medias if you will. My name is Monique Tawiah everywhere, at Monique Tawiah. Even check out my website, www.com. Monique Tawiah. Oh wait, I said www.com. How is that gonna work? Anywho, www.moniquetawiah.com. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.